Okay, hello everyone. Let's start week 4. So today's our topic is framework for health status estimation based on daily life activities with using daily life activities data using to machine learning techniques. So in this class we are going to talk about our health, how to check our health estimation, how to calculate those data, our health data, and we can based on our daily activities data, and based on that we use to machine learning can we predict to our health conditions things. So that things we going to talk in this class. So this is again I'm just going to recommend you, if you don't have a background in machine learning, then please take this course from KMOOC, and this is a KMOOC machine learning course. And again I'm using this book, Machine Learning for Healthcare Applications, for preparing this course and this class PPTs. So in this class we will learn predicts the overall health status of person using to the machine learning techniques, and the overall health status that include how well a person is sleeping, eating, doing physical activities, etc. And also the proposed system monitors the health of persons and alert when they are deviating from the normal states. So in this class we will also discuss the data collection approach, the architecture of the system, overall health estimation models and implementation details, and analysis of the result also. So in the current generation it is very important to monitor our health and with our busy life. So people nowadays, the many are experiencing health related issues at the early age. So many of these issues arise because of our daily life activities. So the main objective of this class, the learning this topic, is people are interested in the many activities, but they hardly know the consequence of those activities. So hence it is the very important to detect daily life activities and that affect the health of the persons and predict the disease that may come in the future. So however, there are existing methods, or we have a lot of existing methods for predicting and particular kind of the disease like diabetes, tuberculosis, and sugar and other things based on those electronic health records. So the keywords of this topic we are using to healthcare data analysis, machine learning in healthcare, and data analytics, and health status estimation things. So let's see our contents, table of contents, what type of thing we are going to talk. First we are going to talk about the introduction of health status, why this is the important, what is the health status means, and what is the role of daily activities in there. Then we going to talk about to the prior work. Prior work means what the previous methods they are using and how do they predict those things, and what is the current time and till now what they are using to the methods to predicting the issues. So third we are going to talk about to problem statement, like what is the problem in the prior work, previous times, what they are working on it. So what is what kind of the problems is existing, and how can we solve those problems we can see in a new health status architecture. And after that they talk about to propose health status architecture and the results. We can going to compare the result of accuracy, precision, and so on things, how to be improved those things. And finally we are going to summarize the whole content, our this daily life activities, predictions of these issues things. Okay, so let's see first introductions. Health status of an individual. What is the individual? So current time what we are doing, we doing a lot of exercises, playing sports, walking, doing several different things. So those have also, and we have also some habits of our activities, like some people are smoking, some people are drinking, some people are doing something else. Some people are doing something like just walking and something eating a lot, so oily food and those things. So those are some habit and some activities have also some effect in our bodies, right? So let's see first what is the health status. Health status perceptions are subjective rating by the affected individual of his or her health status. Means we can say that, like some people say that, okay, I'm eating so much oily food, but I'm okay, I'm completely perfect, I don't have any problem to, like, no cholesterol, no nothing, so I'm okay. So that is the health status. Perception are the subjective ratings and by the affected of individual his or her health status. So everyone has a different health status, different cultures, different type of foods, kind of foods, so they can have using to that is the some subjective one. Can be some people say that I'm eating a lot of oily, but I'm okay. Some people say that I'm eating very less, but I have this high cholesterol. So they have different perceptions based subject rating. So they have different perceptions things. So this health status of an individual considering the presence of biological or psychological dysfunctions and symptoms and functional impairments. So the health status is the health can be considered in the terms of a person's body structure and function and the presence or absence of the disease or sign or their symptoms, disease symptoms things. So that is the effect about the quality of life that is affecting more of our health status. Quality of life, that is what they can and cannot do, that is the extent to which the condition affects the person's normal life. So the overall health status of the persons comparing a level of the wellness with the level of illness. So overall health we can define in these things. Overall health status of any persons can be defined like comparing level of wellness with level of illness things. So with the based on those comparisons we can define any person's overall health status things. So this is the 1948 WHO World Health Organization defined the status of health definition. He give the definition of health. They mentioning that a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being and not merely of the absence of the disease. That is the health status. So what they defined, the WHO is said that to complete physical, mental and social well-being of any persons, any human, and they are not merely with the absence of the disease. That is the can be easily defined to the status of any particular status of the any human or any person, individual's health things. So that is the health care is the prevention, treatment and management of the illness. So the preservation of health through the services offered by the healthcare organization and the professionals. It includes all the goods and services designed to promote health, that is called the preventive, curative and palliative interventions, whether directed to the individuals or to populations things. So that is the healthcare of the state, detect the healthcare of any, promote the health of any particular individual persons. So it will include the goods and services, both are designed to the health to promote the health. So health status is measured using to the pathological and clinical measure. Pathological and clinical measure means where we are doing the testing, blood test, urine test and high blood pressure, sugar test, those type of things, these related issues. So that is the pathological and clinical test. Laboratories is combining the measure the health status. So measure of the health status is usually measures of health status that is usually observed by the clinician, clinical and measured using to the instruments. So there is a type of some disease measurement includes the sign, for example blood pressure, high blood pressure, temperature X-ray, tumor size, like that type of things, that there is some signs of the health. Symptoms, there is a disease specific checklist, like COVID symptoms we have to sore throat, headache, fever, that type of kind of things. Similarly, in a catch a cold, we have a nose, running nose and headache, that type of things. And then we have comorbidity. That is the Carlson index, ICED index of the coexisting diseases. They are giving to this Carlson index, ICED indexes, they are providing some disease, existing disease definitions, existing disease symptoms, and there's morbidity of those informations can be find out though the measurement way of the disease. Adverse event, they are providing the pain, bleeding, remissions, and complications, those type of some they are providing to adverse events things. It is always best to use an existing measure which has been tried and tested rather than inventing a new one. Use an existing the standardized measure with proven reliability, validity, and responsiveness, and then these all things can be done by the clinical and pathological test, and it will be giving to the real estates of things. So this is the psychometric criteria. The finding the any person's individual's health status is also based on the some psychometric criteria. For example, acceptability. Acceptability is there should be a range across a measure with no floor or ceiling biases. Reliability, there is a test, retest, iterator, and internal consistency. They are providing to validity, they have giving to sensitivity and specificity. And responsiveness, a measure can be detect meaningful changes, that things. So these are the some psychometric criteria where based on the psychometrically we can assume that what is the health status of the individual persons or human. So there is a acceptability, that is the means we have calling there is a something making the some range between the okay, if you feel like today feel like very headache, like my head is looks like heavy, so that is finding okay, that is the something changing, something body change in your is going on your body. So they according to that they have finding they can find the acceptability to some has some disease, some issues. Then we have to reliability. Reliability is a test. There is a test. We have test with some different blood tests, sugar tests, and hypertension tests. That type of some existing test we did, and according to test we can be sure that yeah he or she has some issue, some body status, some health status has some problem, some disease things. Validity, we have to find the sensitivity and the specificity. Validity also it is the giving to something like we get it the some pain and some sensitive things, sensing something new and something different, that is also find out the some validity and those things. And responsiveness, that is provide to a measure can be detect meaningful changes, means we will respond based on our measurement and our measuring the test and pathological and clinical test. Based on those measurement we can detect the meaningful changes in happening in the body, those things. So that is the health status for the psychometric criteria can be used. So if the measure is the intent for routine use of the part of clinical practices, so the measure should be appropriate, relevant, the measure should be brief and simple to the administrator, and the measurement should be feasible for routine use. So if it is not possible to use the existing measure, the next best thing is adopt the existing measure. For example, reliability, validity, responsiveness in the new circumstances things. So that is the measure of the measure should be appropriate, means we must be testing, and those pathological clinical test data must be appropriate and relevant related the body issues, body changes, and body what the issues had happened in your body according to that. There must be the according to that one. So, and measures should be the brief and simple for the administrator. They can be easily understand. So we cannot going to write the, we have to some sugar things. So we sugar, high sugar levels, then we have to write the some 2 pages, 3 pages report. We just make that so simple, like that level of the sugar has the low and high, and that can be administrator can be easily administrator that be who can be recognized and responsible can be understand the easily to be what the issue can be possible. And it that is also used for the feasible routine uses things. So health status has some factors that can be improved and test the reliability. For example, they have training to the observe things like observers, training of observers who has this issues, who is the caretaker of the patients. They have to observe the some changes, whatever is going on. They must be trained. They know the meaning of those changes and those things. So before that observer must be trained. Things clearly definitions of terminology, criteria and protocols. What type of terminology? Medical terminology is too hard, and we can understand those things. Every medical name of every disease has the 2 different things. So that is the 2 different level of the understanding. So that's the must be clear definition and give the definition of terminology and criteria and protocols. Regular observation and review of the techniques. So identifying causes and discrepancies and acting on them. That is the called the identifying and acting of them are. So these are to the status. So finding to the training of observers, clear definitions of observers. So it will be using to the definition of terminologies and making the more simple way where people and patients are normal people can be easily understand what is the issues and what type of problem gonna be happen things. And then regular observations and review techniques means the observation of any patients, any persons, they are observing every day what is the symptoms of, they have some symptoms, that symptoms is going to increase or decrease like that way. For example, regular observation means current, like if someone has like coming to from outside of the Korea, they have to testing for the COVID testing, and if we feel like some uncomfortable, we go for COVID test, right? So they recommended, government recommended that you must be take a test to 1 week immediately, and after 1 week you must be in the observations, and after 1 week you can take another test. So between those 2 tests they can measure, they can find it the regular observation, and they can find it the what is the differences, and those are the some issues are improving or not. So that is the observation, regular observation and review techniques. Identifying the causes and discrepancies and acting them means identifying the issues, like if you have some problem, something some your health is going to up and down something, so you identify, doctors and the patients get the find the identifying the issues, what type of discrepancies have, and we act them to improve it, for to remove that type of discrepancies from the, make it the more health is more procurement of the health, we treatment of the health, we can do that, acting of them issues. So that is the health status have some methods that can be increased validity include, they have using the structured and standardized procedures for collecting clinical informations, standardized protocol for the scoring, interpreting, use as a well constructed instrument, and obtain the appropriate reports for the informations. And is also finding the relationship between validity and reliability is what may be valid for a group of age, some particular group of populations, and may not be so for an individual in the clinical settings. So when reliability of repeatability of the test is poor, the validity of the test for given individual may also be poor. So what does this mean? Let's think about that way. Methods that can increase validity includes, means we use to some that type of methods or some that type of easy methods can be improve or increase the validity can be to be prepare for that health, though that can be so to health status of individual. So for that they using the structured and standardized procedure for to collecting the clinical information, means they have must be some structured and standardized. Maybe they cannot, it's not possible like just we go to for some clinical test and those things, we just do the test and randomly and just said it okay, it's done. They must have some real equipment, testing instruments. They must have they must follow the standard, how to they going to do, how to what the step are too easy to calculate those things. So the structured and standardized procedure they must to follow for the collecting the clinical information, collecting to the our test information and those things. Standardized protocol for scoring and interpreting. They must to use some standardized protocol to feel like for the high blood pressure is being on the 128, above to 128 there is a high, low to below to 70 there is a low. So they have to there's some standardization. They make that they must to follow those standard protocols for the scoring and interpreting that what is type of problems and what type of health status issues have to the patients. So use of the well constructed instrument. So they will use to obtain, they must be used to well constructed instrument, not like some old equipment, old instrument that can be used to that can be give the some errors and that type of thing. So they must be use well constructed and well new and well advanced instrument to be checking some checking or clinical or pathological testing. So for our clinical pathological testing or any other further testings they want to use like blood pressure, sugar test and those things. So it also obtained the appropriate reports for informations things. They obtain the appropriate report, they make the appropriate report that can be issues to the exact informations, not the giving the meaningful informations, not the like something any random informations things. So that's the way we use to method that can be increase the validity and invalidity of the your health status things. And finding the next that we talk about relationship between validity and reliability. What is those what is the relationship between the validity and reliability for the health status? So it will be make the, for like example, we have to as a adult we need to require the blood pressure must be 120, belong to 120. But if the if we go for the small child, young child people blood pressure and those things, then there is a different criteria, there is a different score to be calculating things. So what may be valid for a group or and a population may not be so for an individual in the clinical setting. So what is the good blood pressure score for the young child, that is not necessary that is the same for the adult people. So they have to change, they must be find to the standardization protocols to be manage those things. So if they using the standard validity, then it gonna be trusted and reliable data from the people's things. So when the reliability or repeatability of the test is poor, the validity of test for an given individual may also be poor. So we can say that like if reliability and reliability or repeatability of the test is poor, and the means if our reliable testing, we did the test in the different way and repeat the test several times, and they giving the different result, not the same or not the similar result according to that things. So it will be possible to be not possible, that is sure that the individual health status or validity of that test must be poor. So the reliability, repeatability of the test is poor, can be also, they also simultaneously depend, validity is simultaneously depends on the reliability and repeatability of the test. So if those data of reliability and repeatability are good, then its validity of the test for given individual is be also good. So that is the relationship between the validity and reliability things. So this is the overall first session. We finished these first sessions, and next session we are going to talk about to the parameters of the health status, what type of parameter we can consider to matching those things. So okay, thank you. We'll see you in the next session too.